let's play some Sonic. It took me a second to transition it over. Everyone is, yeah, all right, everyone's got their volume on. We're good to go. Hello, we're playing Sonic today. Kind of, but not really. All right, so before we talk about what we're doing today, we should probably introduce who we are. So hello, this is the Sonic Stream. I am Kyle. I am part of the Quest Friends podcast. You are on our Twitch channel. And if you're in the chat, you listen to the podcast, because I recognize all of those names. Yeah, I'm going to be the game master for this game. That means I'm going to be Shadow, doing a kind of okay Shadow voice because it's just really an edgy voice, and doing a terrible Eggman voice. I'm so sorry ahead of time. And then yeah, let's go around. Let's start with who's going to be playing the main man himself, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, that's me. Little slow on the uptake there. Hi, I'm Pranks Paul. My pronouns are he, him. I will be the main man, the fastest guy alive. You can find me on the Never Tell Me the Pods podcast, where I talk about Star Wars and sometimes talk about Sonic. And you can also find me on the Autonomic podcast, which is the other podcast that I run with my good friend Kat, which is a children's podcast. And unfortunately, I also talk about Sonic on that, but the editor usually cuts that part out.
Oh, that's such a shame. I want the Sonic cut, just the Sonic bits.
No, you don't.
All right. And you cannot have a Sonic without a Tails. So playing Tails today, we've got Kat.
Hi, I'm Kat Cool. I'm a game designer and podcaster primarily, though recently I've also gotten into streaming. Pranks covered our primary, or my primary project. He does other things, the Autonomic podcast, which I don't call a kids podcast. I call it an all ages podcast. That's really what it is. Yeah, I also stream here on Twitch and hopefully soon on other channels that are more accessible to charity. But here on Twitch, I stream it as Cool Kid. I'll write a message in the chat soon. For that, I stream like Animal Crossing and relaxing games. I'm very excited to be here.
Yay!
I love Sonic.
Sonic's so good.
I'm sure that's pretty rare for everyone here. Uncommon experience. Cool.
Well, there's one person who loves Sonic above all else. Well, actually, that's not true. Tails is top, but running in at a close second. Maybe a stronger expresser of her adoration is Amy Rose. So, Hallie, why don't you introduce yourself and who you're playing today?
Hi, I'm Hallie, and I'm playing Amy Rose. If you listen to Quest Friends, you know who I am. I'm on that podcast. I'm also on a podcast called Catching Up David, which is a movie podcast with someone who has never seen any pop culture film basically ever made. It's a good time. I'm playing Amy Rose today, and I'm really excited because I really like Amy Rose, like a whole lot. And that's my spiel. That's why I'm here.
All right, sounds good. I mean, we don't need a whole lot. We don't need a whole lot of like meandering. Sonic goes fast. That being said, I am going to spend like 10 minutes talking about the system that we're using so people actually know what's going on. So we're doing a Sonic Adventure roleplay. That means we're taking the plot of Sonic Adventure 2, where I'm plopping in the basic settings, throwing in a bunch of role players, and then we're just going to kind of see what happens. It might follow the plot of the game. It might not. It really depends on how much everyone remembers, and then also how anyone who listens to Quest Friends knows that my improvisation can go places. So we will see. Family-friendly places, but places. So what we're going to use today is we're using a system called the Genesis system. How that system works for a short version is that everybody, when they roll, is going to roll a set number of dice. I'm going to have a whole bunch of names, whole bunch of like, it'll be like a boost die, or I'll probably get sick of that and eventually just be like, roll a blue die, because they're all colored. The core thing you need to know is that these die work in two ways. So they work in success and failure, and they work in advantage and threat. Basically, success and failure is, do you succeed at the thing you're trying to do? And then advantage and threat is it actually good that you succeeded or failed? So, like, you can fail at something and it's real good for you, or you can succeed at something and it's going to make things real bad for you. So that's kind of how the system works. We're going to kind of play fast and loose. Whenever any new mechanics get introduced, I'll walk through them. We're actually doing a whole separate game partway through. You'll see how it happens. And then, so that's the core thing to remember. We've got our success and failure metric, and then we've got our advantage and threat metric. And then the other thing you can see down here, we've got what we call Sonic and Shadow points, or Hero and Dark points. Our players are going to start with 3 Sonic points, and I get 1 Dark point. For anyone who listens to Quest Friends, this is the equivalent of XP and GM Intrusion in Numenera. For anyone who doesn't, basically what happens is players can use a Sonic point to make, or a Hero point, to make something really good happen to them, and I can spend a Shadow or Dark point to make things just a little more tough. But the trick is, when they spend a Sonic point, it becomes a Shadow point for me to use, and vice versa. This basically encourages them to use things, and also make sure that I can't just throw the kitchen sink at them, as I tend to want to do. So, any questions before we get to our opening scene? I don't know why I asked any questions, because like that's the chat, and I looked at you as if I was asking you if there were any questions. All right, we're gonna get started. So, 1327, above the capital city. We look in up on the upper skyline, and we see up there a military-grade helicopter flying. It's a helicopter, but it's got missiles on the side, basically. As we get closer to the helicopter, on its side, we can see emblazoned in a giant G, a symbol for the Guardian Units of Nations, or the gun military. And inside of it, we can see we can hear a pilot talking to the commander. Sigma Alpha 2 heading due south over the city. We're en route. Everything's a go. This is Control Tower. We have you on radar. Report cargo status of captured Hedgehog aboard. Over. That's a 10-4. Cargo secured on board, and suddenly we hear a crash from the back of the helicopter. And the pilot just goes, "What? I didn't copy that, over. The Hedgehog is gone. He's taking out everyone aboard, and what's wrong? Come in, over. What in the world?" And suddenly, a plate bursts out of the side of the helicopter, and outside of it flies, and Pranks, I will let you describe what everyone sees.
A cool blue blur, the fastest thing alive, is skyboarding down a panel, which he's ripped off of the side of the plane. He just gives kind of a feral grin and a thumbs up to the camera, which he knows is there, as he does an incredibly 90s backflip with his feet still firmly planted onto the metal panel. He looks up, gives a little salute, and says, "Trust me, that panel wasn't load-bearing." And then as he falls down, he does a very cool sort of swoop, and he says, "Prison Island, huh? Sounds a little on the nose. But then again, you are called Gun." And he lands perfectly down a narrow kind of, we'll say, alleyway. He looks up at the helicopter, and he sort of revs up a little bit, and the camera is too slow to keep up with him as he shoots off, screaming, "Eat my farts, cops!"
Great.
And just in the distance, you hear a pilot just saying, "Freeze, what do you think you're doing? Get that hedgehog." And that phrase happened in the entire span of what Sonic just did. It was that fast.
And as he's taking off, like, the camera finally does catch up with him, and we can see him just sort of sliding down, and he says, "Call me Cargo, will they? This is what Cargo," and he points at a parked car near him.
All right.
And he remembers no one can hear him. He looks around sadly and says, "Tails would have got it."
All right, so Sonic, you're just speeding down. Did you get off of your metal skateboard, or are you like riding that down this incline of the city?
I think we'll start, sort of ice cap zone style, riding it down the. Let's start with this little skateboarding thing. See until I'll jump off when the metal gets too hot to stand on because it's going too fast, or I'll jump off when there's like a truck in my way, whichever comes first.
Okay. So Sonic's skating down. For anyone listening, because I don't have music right now, pull up two things. Pull up Escape from the City from Sonic Adventure 2, and then just pull up a grating metal sound effect. And make that grating metal sound effect about twice as loud as the song, and you're going to replicate the Sonic Adventure 2 experience. So just we hear as Sonic's quipping his way down. He's moving through back and forth. I would have you, no, we're not going to have our first roll. We're going to have just Sonic is skating through the city. He's being a lot more smooth than when I played Sonic Adventure 2 and actually hitting the curves. But then finally you see your first objective. You're going, and suddenly a trolley you find is going to go right in front of you if you keep your current objective. So what are you going to do, Sonic?
Looks like this is my stop. I jump over the trolley, or try to anyway. That's a roll, right?
Yeah, that's an athletics. The one you're very good at.
Athletics.
I think it's athletics. It's athletics. So that's going to be, you have an agility of 5, and then you have an athletics is brawn?
Athletics is based on brawn, yeah.
Well,
so maybe it should be coordination?
Yeah, coordination. We're going to make a coordination.
All right, so I have a roller up here. Do you want me to just do it and then tell you
Yeah,
what
just
the results
do it,
are,
and we're going to say it's a difficulty of 2. So do 2 purple dice.
All right, fastest thing alive, got an agility of 5, and a coordination of 1, which means 1 green, 4 yellow. And you said the difficulty was 2? Or how much?
Difficulty was 2, and it's opposite way around. 1 yellow, 4 green.
It's 1 yellow. Oh, that's right.
Mhm.
Sonic doesn't believe in rules. Are there any difficulties here? Any
No.
boost or setback?
No, it's just a trolley. You saw it coming.
I did see it coming. Okay, so that is pretty good roll. 3 successes and 4 advantages.
Okay, so Sonic, this is just the best jump over a trolley that has ever been seen in the history of the past week, because you do something this cool every week. So
whoa, what happened a week ago? Oh, it was me. Okay.
So describe just the coolest jump over a trolley in existence.
Yeah, so this is what we've invented like pinhole cameras for, in that you get Sonic jumping and Sonic goes up, the skateboard continues to travel downwards in the direction that it was on, and the camera goes through the like gap between the truck cab and the actual truck, and when it goes out on the other side, Sonic has already landed still back on the skateboard. He gives another thumbs up, and he's still skating down, but as he's smiling, his grin fades a little as he realizes there isn't really anyone looking at him, and that's no good.
Oh,
Or perhaps I should put it this way: that's no good.
So Sonic doing something really cool, but dealing with this deep, deep loneliness inside, continues skating down. I'm actually going to add something, if it's all right, that happened. Is on the other side of the trolley, we actually had 2 gun units. So we gun units being the mechanized force of gun. So let me pull up. I didn't have the gun units pulled up. Give me a quick second to pull those kiddos up.
Give me a quick second to pull a gun on us.
So we had 2 units. We had the Mono Beetle. Mono Beetles are just these flying like orbs with little like glass eyes that they use to see. So there was a Mono Beetle, and then there was also a Gun Hunter. Gun Hunters are, I'm just going to call them Gundams. They're mechs.
Mhm.
They're just like little mechs about, the size of a large man. And so what happens is, as the skateboard goes through, it just cuts, like both of them were sitting there ready to like jump on Sonic, because, they knew Sonic couldn't go over and jump like that. But it's so cool that the metal slider just goes in, cuts the Gun Hunter in half, and Sonic just bounces on top of the Mono Beetle and then bounces onto the skateboard.
So, quick question, Kyle. What are those extra advantages for? Do I use them to pick up rings, or did I spend them to buzzsaw through this thing, or like how did that work?
The advantages in this case, since we were going to combat, they just made the roll really cool, and then I threw those two enemies in your way, which actually do
Okay.
give you rings, because every enemy gets you rings. So Mono Beetle gets you 1 ring, and then destroying a gun hunter gives you 3 rings. So you
Okay,
have
so
4
I'm at
total.
4. Yeah.
And generally rings are shared among the group, so like everyone would have gotten 1 ring and everyone would have gotten 3 rings, but no one else is there, so Sonic gets to share his rings with himself.
Okay.
Rings are a new currency we're adding. They basically, you can do special abilities with them. But yeah, I'd also say if you wanted to spend like, say, each advantage to get 2 rings, that would have been fine as well.
Okay. Just so I know the rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so Sonic continues skating down. I'm going to say you hit a slow. I know, you're slowing down. I'm so sorry. As you find yourself in the middle of the park. Now, this park is interesting. You see a few people milling about their businesses. Some parents turn to you and they're like, "Oh, it's the hedgehog," and they get like really worried. While the kids are like, "Oh, it's Sonic." But you also see just hiding in you see hiding on benches with like giant mustaches and like bowler cats. Just reading the newspaper, you see 3 gun hunters are just sitting there in the park bench, just like pretending to be innocuous, waiting to jump you if given the opportunity.
Can I do something before the inevitable combat starts?
Yeah, they haven't attacked you yet, so you can do what you want.
I want to use my let's see. I basically want to rev up. I'd like to super peel out, rev up, and get all these people out of the park before the shooting starts.
Okay. Let's think of a good
So
skill.
I press up on the D-pad and then the jump button a couple times.
All right. I always have to remember what all the skills are.
This isn't a skill. Super peel out isn't on my sheet. I just wanted to like in place do the little figure 8 thing that he does, and then zoom forward.
Yeah, let's say I am gonna have you roll for this super quick. Just because there's a lot of people all over the place. I'm gonna say it's a difficulty 3 again. Difficulty 3, so 3 purple, and just use your base agility for that.
Okay, so no skill. I am going to use a Sonic point on this because this is important.
Okay.
So I will gain 1 yellow and take away 1 green.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. All right. That is 2 successes and 1 threat, which is cool. That's what I wanted.
Okay. 2 successes and 1 threat. So, in this case, you do successfully get everybody out. Hooray! That's good. But
and as I put that down, I say, "Sorry to park you here," and then like I zoom away, but it leaves like an after image of me giving a cheesy thumbs up.
And I'm actually going to play off of I'm going to play off of what you said earlier when Sonic was really sad that that like nobody heard him say any quips earlier. You say the quip and you speed away and you just hear the purest like little child giggle as they're just really happy, and for a moment Sonic is slowed with a warm heart.
And I skid, which is what causes the threat, right? So I'm a little off balance because that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, you're skid, you're a little off balance, and that's going to make it so that you get a benefit to initiative, but that is, you're not going to get that benefit this time. So it's just going to be a flat roll. And at this point, it is going to be our time to roll. So you know what's going on, so you're going to roll cool for that. They know what's going on, so they're going to roll cool, which is funny because presence. Did I give them a presence of 1? I'm pretty sure I gave them a presence of 1. Let me double check. Yeah, they have a presence of 1, so it probably isn't much of a threat, but yeah, okay. Yeah, roll me some initiative because these mechs are going to come after you.
3 successes and an advantage.
All right, cool. So these mechs are real bad. Like, you skid for a second, and the mechs are like, yeah, this is our moment, and they go up to like, fight you. But they only got an advantage. They didn't get a success, so, like, the fake business suits that they were put into, because Gun is really focusing on, like, you know, real high-tech Terminator-style subterfuge.
Mhm.
The suits they're wearing, just like they all get kind of caught up in it, and like they're giant mechs, so you hear as they're like getting up to attack you, so they're not stealthy at all. Is there anything else that makes it so that it's so easy for you to take first initiative?
So they're tossing off their suits, and Sonic is just looking at them with a bemused expression, and then he waits until they throw their suits on the ground, and then he says, "This is why I run naked."
All right. And
Oh, sorry. Your question was: is there anything that makes it easier? No, I just wanted to say something.
Well, I mean, Sonic explained why it was easier for him.
Sonic says.
All right. Yeah, Sonic, you are in combat against these things. So these are three big old mechs. They got punch arms and they got gun arms because they work for Gun. And most things from Gun have guns except for the Mono Beetles, which don't have anything except.
And they freelance for punch, I assume.
Yeah.
So I'm going first. How far am I from them? First of all.
I'm gonna say short.
Not that it matters.
I was gonna say a short distance because it's a smallish park.
Got it. Let's see. Well, I've got a couple of options here. And I've got what, 4 rings? That's not enough to actually trigger any of my wacky attacks. But I am right next to them. Are these so? Tell me again how many robots there are and what the types are. There's the like little ball ones, right?
So
and then there's the two kind of.
There aren't any ball ones right now because those ones stick out too much. Actually, no, I do like that. So I'm gonna change that. So we had two mechs, 2 gun hunters, and then we have 1 mono beetle, which was disguised as a dog. So it had like a little leash around it, and it was just kind of resting on the ground.
Oh, I used to have a robot dog in some continuity. All right, all right, I don't have anything I can actually do that's special, so I'm just gonna close the gap and try to roll through them using Brawl. So we'll call this like the somersault attack that he can do in Sonic Adventure, where you just tap B. So I guess I'll just roll athletics. This is a Brawl.
And are you going after the hunters or the mono beetle?
The mono beetle's a dog. I'm not gonna hit a dog.
That's fair. It doesn't have very good attack.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna slide under the legs of one of the gunters.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
And attack it that way.
All right.
So what's the difficulty here?
Difficulty for melee is 2, I believe.
Okay. And are there any complicating factors here?
Complicating factors? No, these are mechs. They're standard enemies. There's nothing really that difficult about them. They're mechs.
Okay, that is a wash.
Oh, that's
fascinating.
Interesting. I believe a wash is considered a failure, correct?
Yeah, it's a failed attack.
Okay, so it's a failed attack, so nothing across the board. All right, so Sonic gets what I would imagine the worst thing of all to happen when Sonic does something, which is just no response at all. Like, nothing good, nothing bad. That's not fast. That's not fun. Yeah, how's Sonic not successfully hit these things? Do they just like step out of the way, or?
So here's what happens. While this is going on, the 2 mechs have not quite finished getting out of their clothes, and the one mech is pulling the other mech out of its jacket, and it pulls the other mech's leg up, causing Sonic to completely miss as he goes through, and he goes under the bench that they had been sitting on, turns around, looks dismayed, and then makes the like face.
All right, and the mechs are just gonna be like, and then they both pick up their gun arms and they shoot. And I'm gonna say, since you skid past them, you're not engaged anymore, because Sonic goes so fast that like he's back in short range. I'm saying that because it makes it easier for me to hit you.
Fair.
So I'm gonna say, no, they're not disoriented anymore because they took a moment. They're gonna take their shot. So they have good in gunnery, so that's gonna be 1 yellow and 1 green versus 1 blue.
2 purples, right?
1 purple because you're in short range.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Yeah, I cheated to make it a little bit nicer for myself.
Fair enough.
1 purple, 1 yellow. They do a shot, and they end up with 1 advantage. These mechs are not very good at their job, but hey, they're fully neutral in a way that helps them out. So they're gonna.
So I think they hit the bench, which blasts toward me, and which 3D blasts towards me, and makes it harder for me to approach them next turn.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. You have to deal with a bench. A bench is coming towards you. All right, what are you gonna do, Sonic?
The scariest thing possible, something that I sit on.
Something static.
So I see this bench coming towards me, and benches and other things that you sit on are disgusting. So I'm going to like try to rev up and blast it back in the other direction. So I'll try to spin dash and then kick the bench back at them.
Okay.
I want to try, let's see. Is there a different kind of attack I have? I've got quills, which are brawl.
Quills are just your basic attack. Any attack you do, I will use that basic. Like if you want to like attack the bench, I'd say use what skill you think is most appropriate, and then the bench will have a default value of like 1 or 2 or something like that. I feel like it's a bench that's kind of broken, so it'll have a default of +1, same as your quills.
Cool. So I think what I'll do then is I'm going to try to jump on the bench, ride it for a bit, and then kick it off with my feet in their direction.
Okay.
So I'm going to call that riding, if that's okay with you. Or it can be coordination. I don't really care.
No, I'm so mad because earlier today I was like, wow, we gave Sonic the riding skill. Not that I'll ever use it. That's very good. Riding. You've convinced me.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did give me riding.
Sonic
I was just completely picking at random.
So I'm going to say it's a little difficult. It's going to be 3... let's see. Yeah, I'm going to say it's 3 purples and then 1 setback because of them doing well last time. But you also do get your full 5 agility and then 1 in riding, so I don't feel too bad.
Again, 2 advantages. Really more like misses for me. You know what? Here's what I think. The bench, but I kick off, grab rings on my way.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So I think
so how many rings do you get per advantage?
Per advantage is 2 rings.
Haha.
So you leap off
8 rings.
Yeah, someone just left their rings on the bench. They're yours now. There were rings that were on the bench. They've been using like rings for infrastructure. So you know how sometimes you destroy things in The Legend of Zelda and you just have rupees? That's I guess how rings work in this universe now.
Sonic. All of my like spend rings abilities are like 5 rings. Do you have any cool spend rings abilities?
Yeah, I do. But it's not my turn yet, Tails.
Okay. Fine. I want to see you do a cool thing.
Ouch, Tails. You weren't here when I jumped through a truck.
All right. I'm going to say for this one, they see this and they're like, oh, cool, benches. And so they're just going to pick up a bench and try to chuck it at you. And I have no idea what skill this is going to be. It is going to be a difficulty 3 as well because all bench-related abilities are now hard difficulty. What the heck kind of thing would it be to...
I think it's melee heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess they're throwing it, but it feels more melee... Would it be...
Or is it ranged heavy?
I guess it's ranged heavy.
Yeah, they're throwing a bench at me.
So they're going to throw...
They're trying to bench me.
They're going to throw a bench at you. Let me look at their abilities. All right, they have... Their agility ain't good. This is absolutely something they should not be trying, but they're going to try it anyway. So they're going to roll 2 greens, 3 purples. So the bench, which does 2 damage, hits you with 1 success. So ends up doing 3 damage. If you have any rings over 20, you lose all of them. You don't. You have like 7.
Over 20?
I had to make it so you didn't lose all your rings all the time. But it does result in 2 threats. So, let me think of threats. What kind of thing does this do that gives you a little bit of advantage?
So they threw the bench and they hit me, right?
Yeah, they hit you.
I think it splinters, which causes some knockback on them.
Okay, so it causes some knockback on them. I'm going to say one of the two of them falls over, which is not really easy mechanically, but we'll wing it. So one of them falls over, and the other one tries helping it up because they're pals. They help each other out. They got each other's back. All right, Sonic.
Then they shall fall together.
No.
Wow.
So I have 8 rings now, which is cool. And the little Tails angel on my shoulder reminded me that I have attacks. So I think I'm going to use some of those attacks because why not? I think I'll spend 5 rings to... Okay, so when it says you can spend 5 rings to attack an enemy using range with an additional setback die, does the setback die apply to me?
The setback die applies to you, yes. So basically how that works is that basically because ranged ability-wise lets you use athletics, which is significantly higher than your regular attack, it has the downside of costing you a setback die. Just to try to balance it a little bit.
Got it. Well, since there's an enemy that's literally on the ground right now, I think I'll just spin dash towards him.
Okay.
And just have a great time. So I'll spend 5 rings, taking me down to 3, and time to put my own spin on it, I guess. And I'm using athletics.
Yeah, and athletics at the time I thought athletics was a an agility ability, so change it to coordination. Just use coordination instead. The idea is to make it a very strong attack.
Oh, then why don't I just use coordination?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I made a mistake. I thought wrong about how athletic works.
All right, so he's on the ground, or I don't know what this robot's pronouns are. The robot is on the ground, which gives me, I believe, an advantage to attacking it, right?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, so...
it would normally be 2 purple, right?
Yeah, it'd be 2 purple, but you've got 1 blue, and you get another blue because, again, you got that... No, wait, just the 1 blue because it's down. So you get 1 blue, 1 black, and then difficulty of 2.
Oh, I'm not using the one that gives me a setback. I'm just using the spin dash.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 1 blue, and then all
3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, so your quills are +1. Your might is... What is your might?
My brawn is 2.
Your brawn is 2, so that is 3 plus 3 successes is 6, which is just enough, if I look at this right. It's just enough. So how do you just destroy this mech that's just sitting there on the ground?
So I rev up. I rev up longer than I should because I'm cocky. And I shoot forward, buzzsawing through the mech that's on the ground. And there's Back to the Future style like flame trails after me. And his friend that was helping him is still clutching the other robot's arm. And the robot looks demoralized.
Oh no. And the robot actually, just to keep this from going too long, the robot actually looks demoralized, looks at you, grabs the arm, shakes it, and then seems to run away. And you see a little beep, 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 beep. Like, I'm just going to say they have little flags now. A flag goes up and it starts beeping off, and it seems to be signaling something.
Cool. I don't care. I just look at it. I see the beeping thing. And I say, "Hey, we should do this again sometime." And then I run off in the other direction.
What trail of bodies does Sonic the Hedgehog leave in his wake? All right, Sonic, how are you making your way through the city? So you've got a few areas. You've got like the highways. You've got the parks, the residential districts. There is the Riverside district, if you're feeling that.
No. And you know I'm not feeling that.
So what direction is Sonic taking through the city?
Away from the water, Kyle.
All right, fine. Away from the water. So let's see. The water cuts itself right through downtown. You are in downtown, so I'm going to say you are you're making your way further downtown, which is why Sonic doesn't notice at first.
Yeah. So my choices are to take the radical highway or. I guess do a rooftop run. Which of those two should I pick?
Rooftop run or radical highway? What are folks thinking?
Yeah, chat, let me know. Which of these two should I do?
Yeah. You gotta wait a second.
I think there's a bit of a delay.
Yeah,
Oh
there's
no,
like
this is killing me. This delay is killing me.
As much as
Not
me.
Sonic. It's
Sonic
killing me.
has to wait.
Pranks.
Yeah.
all right. We got from one of our listeners. Great. We got 2 different ones, but Rooftop Run came first.
No,
So
someone was. Yeah, sorry, Radical. You were too slow. So we're doing Rooftop Run. Um,
Second vote
cool.
for Rooftop just came in, so.
All right. So
Well,
Sonic.
my friend Ross voted for Rooftop, so now I think we should do Radical.
Too late. Sonic's already booked down the rooftops.
Cool. So I'm running up the rooftops, which has one benefit in that, like, I'm not going to be kicking up too much dust. I'm not going to be disturbing too many bystanders, and I get to see like the flickies that are flying up there, which is also
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
So there's these little burbs that are following me.
These little.
On the
cute-
other hand, I'm also like parkouring off of roofs, which is more difficult. So I'm not going as fast as I normally would.
Yeah.
But,
which normally isn't an issue. So there is something
No.
interesting though that's happening. So as Sonic runs, he's used to seeing just the sidelines blur past him, right? Everything's just blurring past. But one of the rooftops seems to be a little clearer than usual, which is weird. Like you're riding and it just seems like you can see one of the rooftops and it's not moving. And then it disappears for a second. And then you see it
Wait.
back again.
it's weird that it's not moving. Should
It's-
rooftops be moving?
What I mean is that it's weird that it's not moving relative to you.
Oh no, yeah, I can tell. Oh whoa, so, yeah, I'm very good at relativistic motion. So there's something off, and I can tell, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So you see that, and then it disappears, and the rooftop comes back, and then you hear just a revving, just a, and then suddenly, the rooftop, which has disappeared, you realize is not the top of a building. It's the top of a truck. Suddenly, in between just one of these very tiny hallways, bursts out a giant truck the size of a building with just a giant, it looks like a regular truck, but on the back of it is a giant metal block just labeled G. And the truck slams on the rooftops behind you, which you can see kind of buckle a little bit under the pressure, and revs after you. And here we're going to go into some of the mechanics that Genesis doesn't use, but that I use. So we're going to go into a chase sequence. So how I run chase sequence is that there are 5 degrees of separation. There are, 1 is you're completely there, 5 is you're completely away. You always start at 3. And what's basically going to happen is you and the truck are going to alternate turns. You're going to try to do things to get further away from the truck. The truck is going to try to do things to stop you. Now, during your action, so during your free action, you have a choice. You can roll to try to get past whatever the truck is trying to do without spending an action, or you can deliberately spend an action to be like, yes, I take the extra time and effort to jump ahead of it. So basically, you got to play risky to get away from the truck. The truck does not have stats. It cannot be negotiated with. It cannot be destroyed. It cannot be survived.
Mm-hmm.
You have to escape this truck that is leaping across rooftops.
How many 1-ups do I have?
None. Sonic lives on the edge. You know, you only live twice. And by that I mean you only live once. So you got to go fast. So let's start with rolling a. Since you did notice it a little bit, you're gonna roll a cool. The truck, despite being a truck, will also roll cool in an attempt to.
I mean, how cool can it be? What is it, Optimus Prime? How cool can this truck be?
I mean, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty big truck, and that's.
Oh,
kinda
I do
cool.
have my bonus because I'm ready for anything, right?
Yeah, you're ready for anything.
So I have a rapid reaction. Add 1 bonus die when rolling initiative. What kind of bonus die?
Bonus die is the blue one, so just a
Got
blue
it.
bonus.
Okay. 2 successes, 1 advantage.
These gun folks really need to tone down the subtlety. I don't, just the G really should say gun the whole time. All right, so you are ahead of the truck. So the truck is racing after you. Sonic, you see this truck just barreling towards you. What do you do?
You know, rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go. Got to follow my rainbow. So the first thing I do is I turn around and I say dejectedly, "You never find a cab when you need one." And I guess I'll rev up and then just bolt forward trying to find the shortest path between all of the detritus. Because I'm not on the roof anymore, right? Now we're in a straightaway, kind of.
No,
there's no way the truck can.
Do never underestimate the strength of the gun trucks. If we remember from Sonic Genesis, they drive on the side of walls. You are on the top of a roof right now.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll just keep running down this roof, I guess. So yeah, I think, do I have anything special I can do here? I've got 3 rings, which means I can't power any of my abilities. I think I'm just going to go in directions that I see rings are at. Oh, I actually do have an advantage. So can I translate that into picking up 2 rings?
Yeah, you get 2 rings.
Kyle, that gives me 5 rings.
I know, because
which is an important number. 5 rings enable me to speed up, which lets me take an additional maneuver for the next 2 turns.
Okay.
So I think I'll do that. I'll speed up, not knowing how to slow down. And I'm just going to book it as fast as I possibly can while also trying to pick up rings. What do you recommend the roll is here?
The roll for rings, how many rings are you trying? Let's do a default for picking up rings. You know, I should have thought about this, but I didn't think about. Describe how you're trying to pick up rings. Just let's start with that, and then we'll figure out what characteristic we're going to use for that.
Well, so the way I'm going to be running is like this, which people call Naruto running, but that's crazy because he stole that from me.
Okay.
And I'm just going to keep my head down, my arms back, and dashing headlong into the path that I see the rings.
Okay, so as we all know, the Naruto run is definitely a show of agility. So roll me just a flat agility characteristic here, and then basically however many advantages you get will be rings. And
cool. Got
and
it.
Because you sped up, you are going to be 4 steps away from it. So you're further away from this truck now.
Cool. So I'll roll. I got 4 advantages and 4 successes, but the successes don't matter. I assume.
Yeah. So Sonic just speeds ahead, and he just picks up a bunch of rings.
How much is a bunch? That's 8, right?
8. Yeah, 8. A
Okay,
bunch of
cool.
rings. Picks up 8 rings, and the truck is mad because you know how in racing games when you like pick up coins or rings, that means the character behind you can't pick up the coins and rings. Well,
yes, and the truck really wanted those rings.
We're in a ring-based economy. Everything is based on rings. The gas, that's rings. All right, so this thing is going to rev up. You're going to see a plume of smoke because it's now no longer running on the clean ring energy. It's now just running on gas. And the truck...
Well, and it's mad because I'm literally running rings around it.
I was
That was
not
a good
prepared.
one, though. I like that
Tails,
one.
Yeah. Shadow Tails likes that one.
All right.
Not Shadow Tails. We'll call it something else.
Shoulder tails.
Shoulder Tails. There we go.
We don't know why we don't like that one yet.
The truck is slamming through the rooftop, and in fact, what it's doing is, everyone just disappeared for a second. It is flying across the rooftops, and the issue with it flying across the rooftops is rooftops are, I have heard, not designed for having trucks on them. I hear that they kind of struggle when that happens. So just tiles of the rooftops are like flying up, and they're just shooting forward at you like darts. This is going to be, what's going to happen is basically if you choose to roll it, you can automatically avoid this, but you can't make an action. If you try to roll against this, you're just going to do, I know this isn't how the system works. Actually, no. Do you want to take an action to avoid this, or should I just roll flat and see if it gets in your way?
What's the disadvantage to me trying to take an action?
You taking an action basically means that uses your action for the turn, so you can't do something to get you further ahead.
No, I don't want to because I have my extra maneuvers.
Yeah. So all right, I'm gonna have this shoot at you. I'm gonna have it be a roll on its side, just because these rules are very much designed for a system where I didn't roll, so I'm adapting a little bit. But I'm gonna say this is a longer range. Like, you've made a lot of speed. The truck is pretty far behind you, so I'm gonna say it shoots that at you, but it's gonna get a bonus die because it is just, there are so many things that it's picking up right now. And let's figure out, it is The gun. The truck deliberately does not have stats. That was not a good choice on my part. All right, I'm gonna just do some flat numbers. It's gonna do a roll.
It should also have some difficulties based on the fact that I am much smaller than it. So there's a silhouette bonus
That's a good
thing
point.
here. So if it works the same way it does in Edge of the Empire, it should have an increased difficulty
Yeah.
hitting me.
All right, let me increase that difficulty super quick. Thank you for reminding me.
No problem.
All right, so this one is going to be 2 successes and 1 threat. So because it did succeed, you are actually going to be the things are going to fly at you. You're not going to take damage because again, this isn't a fight. This is just to slow you down. So some of these things are getting in Sonic's way, and Sonic actually has to duck out of the way in order to avoid them. They form platforms. The horrifying thing Sonic has not seen since his Genesis days, and they actually slow him down because now we're in the platforming segment of the level. But it is a threat, so the truck is going to have a bit of difficulty revving up, so the next thing you try to do to stop it, you're going to get a bonus die for that.
Well, I mean, the difficulty. So here's what happens. So Sonic sees these platforms. He looks up, and then for a split second, he thinks, and then he says, well, I did always want a platform. And then he turns around, and he says, good luck following me up here, sucker! And then he jumps from platform to platform. And I think I'm going to try to homing attack those platforms, because that's what makes sense.
Okay, so you're going to try the homing attack the platforms. The platforms are not going to put up a fight, so that's going to be just your standard difficulty of 1, because I think it's a short range ranged. And then you have the 1 setback die. You're doing 3, let's say there are 3 platforms. So let's just roll for the 3rd platform. So just do 3 setback die, 1 difficulty, and then you're ranged.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. And I've spent 5 rings on this.
Okay.
So I'm back down to 3. 1 success, 1 advantage. So I want the homing attack to work the way the homing attack does in the game, in that it gives me up. It gives me vertical distance from the truck, which will make it'll be harder for the truck to catch up with me. And then also I have a spare maneuver, so I'll spend that because of the speeding up that I did last time. I'll use that spare maneuver I have to increase the distance.
Okay, perfect. And with that, it is 5. Sonic speeds away, and the truck fades off into the distance. Where are you going to go, Sonic?
I'm going to turn around, give another feral smile at the camera and say, time to keep on trucking. And then I'm going towards the horizon.
Okay.
My favorite place.
Sonic, you're speeding towards the horizon. You're making your way away. Everything is super, super lovely. Like, you see lots of blimps in the air. It's nice and beautiful. But then somewhere, the GM bends a shadow point. And you look up at one of the blimps. And suddenly from out of it, you just hear vroom, 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 vroom. And the truck spirals out of the top of the blimp and starts racing down through the sky towards you in this highway, in this tiny alleyway. So now it is speeding down towards you. You have to make one last action to get away from this thing for good. You can see there's a narrow alleyway. If only you can get to that alleyway, you can evade this truck.
There's a narrow alleyway, huh?
Yeah.
Tell me how the truck's bearing down on me. Is it like trying to fall directly on me, or is it driving?
It's going to fall right behind you, and then it will speed towards you. So it won't fall right. You know what? That's less fun. No, it is belly flopping on top of Sonic the Hedgehog and Central City as a whole.
Cool. Kyle, I'm going to make a roll for agility, and depending on how it turns out, I'm going to tell you what I do. Does that work?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So this roll, I want to do. I've got 3 rings. So in some Edge of the Empire cases, I don't know if this is true of Genesis, but there are ways to do hybrid skills where you use one skill ability, but you use the actual. You use one skill and then another ability. So like I want to use, let's say, coordination, but I want it to be run off my cunning or something like that. Is that something that's permissible here, or do you want me to stick to the...
It's not part of Genesis, but I will allow it. if it makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, so I think what I want to do is I want to make this a cool roll, but tie it to
Okay.
my agility.
Okay, I like that.
And I'm gonna roll, and I'll tell you this is what I'm trying to do is a pretty difficult thing.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give myself 1 setback and 3 difficulty against it.
Okay.
But I will flip a sonic point, and if it all works out, I'll tell you what I did and how I got out of it. Does that work?
Yeah,
Sorry, I know I'm
that's good
taking a
for
lot
me.
of.
No, that's
I'm a lawyer, so I'm asking for a lot of leeway here. All right, so I flipped a sonic point.
Mhm.
So we're rolling 3 purple, 2 setback, and 2 greens and 3 yellow. So
do you have a cool of 3? I think it's 3 green and 1 and 2 yellow.
I have a cool of 2, but I flipped a sonic point.
Oh, right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes! I mean, I succeeded.
Okay, what does Sonic do?
So this is 3 successes and an advantage. So this is what the camera sees. The truck falls all the way down to the spot where Sonic was, and then drives directly into, like Looney Tunes style, that hole, that little tunnel that Sonic was trying to escape into. And then there's just like smoldering wreckage as the truck burns. When the camera pulls back, Sonic has grabbed like a sewer manhole cover, and he's tossing it up and down. He looks down and sees a trail of rings, gives a thumbs up, and then jumps down into the sewers.
Okay. I like that. So Sonic is down in the sewers. It is many hours later, because even though the level takes place during the day, the next scene takes place during the night. Therefore, it must be the night.
That's so weird, right? Like, what did he just like take a nap? Did he like eat while that was going on? Like,
He needed a chili dog.
All right. So, Sonic, you get out of the manhole, and you're walking around, and suddenly in front of you, you see a hedge hole. You get out of the hedge hole. You find yourself, you're now in the center of the city. You're in front of the Central City Bank, in fact. And you're there, and suddenly in front of you, you see a giant mech manned by a man with 2 giant legs, and it's rumbling, and you just hear, this is F6T Bigfoot. I found the rogue hedgehog, over.
I thought you were a myth.
I was going to make a Bigfoot joke, but then I realized you just did it. All right.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You're going to have to cut me off if you don't want me to make the first joke.
Going after rogue hedgehog, over. And you see the Bigfoot. It just slams both feet down. It gets ready to attack. And I need you to roll a cool for this very, very important attack you're about to have.
Awesome. All right, so it's just my cool ability?
Yeah.
Do I get my bonus from prepared for anything on this?
Yeah,
or,
you get the bonus
rather,
for prepared.
Rapid reaction?
Yeah, you get the bonus for
Okay.
that.
All right. 1 success, 1 advantage.
Okay, so you're ready to fight. You're going to go fight this thing, and then suddenly you see the streak of black and red fly from the sky, hit the side of the machine, which then just tumbles to the ground and falls on its side. And then
Skill stealer?
And then from behind the vehicle, you see climbing on top of it another hedgehog. He has got black quills, although there are streaks of red going down them, like really cool spikes. He's got a very difficult, very like challenging look to himself, very edgy. And he's looking at this green jewel in his hand. You would recognize the source of all power, the Chaos Emerald. And he's just saying to himself as he lifts the jewel up into the sky, "It all starts with this, a jewel containing the ultimate power."
Whoa, that's the Chaos Emerald!
And he just looks down at you, scornful a little bit. And who do you think you are?
Listen, Emo the Goth Hog, Get your hands off that emerald.
And as you say that, he grabs the emerald, moves it in front of his hand, and just screams, "Chaos Control!" And as he says that, the green light illuminates around him, getting wider and brighter, forming a giant green light that almost blinds your eyes before disappearing. And suddenly from behind you, you hear the voice speaking on top of the rooftop. And he just says, "My name is Shadow. I'm the world's ultimate life form. There's no time for games." And he moves the Chaos Emerald in front of him again and says, "Farewell!" And with that, he disappears.
Whoa, he's fast. Sorry, did he say ultimate life form? He was wearing rollerblades. I gotta tell tales about this one.
And as you're just laughing to yourself, you are unable to notice as just hundreds of troops and mechs surround you. And you hear just, "Don't move! Stay where you are! Keep your hands in the air!" And with that, Sonic surrounded by troops, laughing about rollerblades, and just the edgiest rival he's ever seen, the camera fades. All right, so before we have our first break for the day, because we got about 15 minutes more, I want to talk about a little bit of some backstory. So it has been a few months since, I got to do this in a very serious voice. It's been a few months since the Station Square incident, where a being made of water and turned into a giant lizard thing called Perfect Chaos, flooding the city. Since this incident, the President of the United Federation reauthorized funding for the Guardian Units of Nation, or GUN. GUN is the main military force, largely responsible for dealing with extraterrestrial and non-extraterrestrial, like on-Earth, threats as well. This force was given the responsibility for safeguarding the Chaos Emeralds in various military buildings and the Central City Bank. All but one emerald was given under gun control. The last one, a yellow emerald, was given to a small fox named Tails, as a reward for his efforts in protecting the city from a missile attack that was semi-related to the Perfect Chaos incident. Because after all, when all crime comes from one man, it's all just kind of related to each other. So we're flashing forward. Around that time, it's the next morning. We are in a new area. It is called the Mystic Ruins. The Mystic Ruins is a very beautiful place. There's lots of tall mountains. The mountainsides almost glitter as if they're jewels themselves. There are waterfalls all over the place. And there's this one small workshop with a runway on it. And in the small workshop, we see this vehicle, this large, like, kind of walking mech with wings on it. And in the very front, we see a Chaos Emerald, a yellow Chaos Emerald, being affixed to its front by a small fox boy.
Mhm.
Kat, who do we see?
We see a perfect baby boy. Just like a little yellow fox with two tails, floofing about as he like tinkers away. He's listening on a police scanner that he's got like super signal boosted, because it's been some time since he's seen his very best friend in the world, who very irresponsibly ran off adventuring without him, and sometimes this is how he finds him, and he's a little worried, as things go. So he's trying to, trying to hear reports of things going awry, because things go awry when he does this.
Yeah.
Things go. You do know. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. So he's just waiting for something to go wrong, and then he'll go deal with it, which is why he's doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
It's fine, and he's not insecure about it, actually.
Not at all.
No.
There was that brief moment where the police scanner, for a second, mentioned how, the rogue hedgehog seems to have some sort of accomplice he's working with. But no, Sonic wouldn't find somebody else. No,
No, he wouldn't. So that couldn't be him.
no, absolutely not.
No.
But that's when you hear it on the radio. Ah, Roger, Roger. Yeah, what's that? Thank you for picking up, Roger. We got the rogue hedgehog in custody. The one that has been attacking the military buildings and the bank, which is how Tails describes it in the game, and stealing all those Chaos Emeralds. What hedgehog are you talking about again? And for one brief moment, Tails, you think maybe it could be Amy. But then you hear, that speed one, his name's Sonic the Hedgehog. We're going to take him to Prison Island, the one place that nobody knows about, except for the folks who have watched that special report on satellite TV, which coincidentally, you have your satellite TV in the corner, which is doing a report on the elusive island known as Prison Island.
Yep. Yeah, the satellite TV. Just keeping that on. Great.
How's Tails feeling?
I'm a little unfloofed.
Oh, no.
Hey, it's fine, actually. I put on my goggles and turn off the scanner and go gather up some equipment and then power up the tornado. Let's go get him.
All right, and I know that was a very short scene, but I feel like the sad "Let's go get him" is the perfect segue for the end of this portion. So that will be fade on the first half of this session. Sonic's in jail. Tails is just very tired, and where is Amy Rose? We'll find out after the break. We find ourselves in space. Specifically, we find ourselves in the middle of this industrial tower. It's maybe used for mining or something like that, or maybe just the bottom opens up for lava in the inside of the meteorite for no reason whatsoever. We're not really sure. But the lava is bubbling below at the bottom of this bottom of this tower. And up above, on one of the walkways going directly over the tower, we see two figures. I'm going to transition over to you.
Long time no see, treasure hunter. Did you find my emeralds?
That's a good one. Your emerald. Talking to you is a waste of time.
I'm Rouge the Bat.
And I'm Knuckles the Echidna. Now stop fooling around
And
give me back my emeralds.
That was amazing.
Perfect. Amazing, exquisite. And then the camera.
Gloves! Pranks, yes!
I told you they'd be useful.
Oh
I
my
was
God.
so confused at first. I'm like, is it just toilet rolls? Like, why is there white?
So good. I want some.
Kyle was like, you guys have to do it in unison. You'll get it.
You'll get it. It'll be
Like,
fine.
We won't.
Yeah, I didn't
So
have
good.
time to say beforehand. That is the Quest Friends way to just make up the unison. Usually it's because I'll fix it in post, but
Great.
it's fine.
It's fine.
All right, and we're going to fade out. And quickly, a new game's going to appear. The name of this game is not Genesis. It is called Reflections, a game of dueling samurai, which we're not dueling or samurai, but it was the best game we had for this. And it does allow for some alternatives. So Reflections is an indie RPG. Yeah, I guess it is an RPG. It's an independent tabletop role-playing game which focuses on the relationship between two rival characters, which for anyone who has played Sonic Adventure 2 would recognize as pretty much the Knuckles segments, because they have nothing to do with the plot. A little bit, but in our game, nothing at all, just not a single thing. So how this game works is we are going to follow the journey of Knuckles the Echidna and Rouge the Bat. What's going to happen on this journey is we're going to have a series of scenes leading up to that final confrontation above the lava comet base. And based on who does the best, that's going to determine that final encounter, who gets away with the Master Emerald. So, how this is going to work is we're going to play out scenes. Each of the characters is going to have a goal in the scene. They're not going to tell each other, but they are going to tell Omochao, because Omochao's here, and he's just ready to help everybody out. Based on whether or not they succeed is going to determine how that final encounter goes. But I don't want to get too much into the mechanics right now. I want to go straight into the gameplay. So before we start, Cat and Pranks, please send a message to Hallie letting her know which of the following 4 objectives are the ones that you want to do. So here are each of the 4 objectives. Remember, the higher dice ones are meant to be more difficult but more rewarding. And your goal is to get yours successful. Omochao, your goal is to make both of them succeed. All right, and let me know when you've each sent Hallie what your goal is.
Just a sec. Where are these objectives?
Oh, I just sent them in
They're
the
in
Zoom
the
chat.
group chat.
Oh, they're in the group chat. Got it. One sec. Sorry.
No, that's
Okay.
fine. And chat, you're talking about Rouge's age.
It's a great question, really.
18 or older. There we go. She's older than 18.
Probably because
Yeah.
she owns a
club.
bar,
She owns a
you
club,
know?
yeah.
Mm.
Knuckles is 18 and she's 21 in this version. There we go. Hooray.
Great.
Fantastic. Sonic is still baby. And by baby, I mean like, I don't know, 16, 17.
16.
Yeah, something like that.
Mental age of 12.
He's very excited. I wasn't sure what Sonic you were going to go for. The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Sonic, I will admit, was not
Classic.
the angle I was thinking, but I'm okay with it.
Explain the dot. The dice
So
thing to
the
me.
dice thing, how this works is, I'll just explain it to everyone. So how the dice things work is that in your final encounter against each other, you are going to roll 6-sided die. And based on how well you roll is going to determine who wins your final fight, gets the Master Emerald. For each encounter, every character has a secret goal, and each of them is aligned with, if you succeed, this is how many die you get. So for 1 die, you could choose an objective of your own. If you feel like you succeeded during the scene and you get to decide, you will get 1 die at the end of the scene. For 2 die, if you're able to get your rival to explain why they find the Master Emerald valuable, you will get 2 die at the end of the scene. If you get your rival distracted from the Master Emerald, which is your focus of the conversation, you will get 3 die. And if you get your rival to call you by a nickname, for example, Batgirl, you will get 4 die at the end. You have to choose one of these that you want to succeed at. So it's not like, so you have to basically say like, oh, my goal is to get Knuckles to explain why he finds the Master Emerald valuable during this scene. I want to get him to do that.
Right. And we can only pick one.
You can only pick one. Which one of these 4 you want to try to do? I mean, you could do multiple of them, but you're only going to get points for the one that you choose.
Gotcha.
The one we tell Omochao about.
Yeah, and then just send a message to Omochao in secret, because you shouldn't know what each other's goals are. But Omochao, who is just sitting there in the corner, for context, Omochao is just this little adorable like blue baby thing that's a robot, and he just provides helpful advice. So he just wants everyone. He provides advice in both the hero and dark stories because Omochao wants everyone to be a winner.
Omochao's a pal.
So Omochao's goal is to get both characters to exist. You take that back, Kent. Omochao does not just exist. Omochao does good things. Does that explanation help a little bit?
Omochao makes a difference.
Yeah. No,
Okay, perfect.
that helps.
Yeah, so just let me know when you've sent your goal to Omochao. And we'll get started. I'm going to make a note.
I'm not going to wear these gloves the whole time because they're very uncomfortable.
I can imagine. Are they hot? They look like they would be hot.
They're hot. You can't do anything in them, and they're too small.
Oh, they're too small. Are they like soft on the inside though? I assume.
Yeah,
would
they're
be.
soft, but
Alright.
like I'm pretty much making the knuckles mitten shaped the whole time, which is not fun.
That's true.
But I have milk.
You have milk. I have water. It makes a loud popping sound whenever I open it up, which is very bad for recordings. All right, have we told Omochao what our goals are? Omochao,
Yeah.
you've gotten both the goals. All right, we are going to open up someplace different from where the game opens up because I like this setting more than where the game opens up. So we're going to open up here. We are going to open up on Angel Island. Angel
Yay!
Island is a floating island right off the Mystic Ruins. It is a relatively small place where Knuckles the Echidna just grumps out and protects the Master Emerald. And as we're about to find out, he's questionably good at it. So we are focusing in, we are seeing the two figures again, and we are seeing them yell at each other. So of the two figures, the Echidna, actually just describe these two figures who are yelling at each other. Who do we see? Let's focus on the Echidna first, because he has rage in his eyes. So who is this Echidna that we see?
So we see a figure that is, similar to a hedgehog silhouette, but with spines curving downward, long dreadlocks, kind of a toothier fang. Sonic has fangs as well, but these are more pronounced. This version of Knuckles, I guess, has, let's say, purple eyes. That's the like modern Knuckles in most of the games. He's got purple eyes, just a real angry looking growl going, and he's got like his knuckles like all tensed up. All of his muscles are tensed right now, and he's just like really trying to restrain himself as he like gesticulates wildly and is yelling at the other figure.
And what is the other figure? What pose is the other figure giving?
Oh, okay. So the other figure, who's just basically like a furry version of Fujiko Mine. I feel it's pretty much an accurate description, except the full black jumpsuit has been replaced by one where the top half is partially ripped off and replaced with a heart. Yeah. A very reasonable aesthetic. I think we can all agree on.
Very good aesthetic.
Yeah. That if Knuckles is like, she's also like leaned back, pouting, and then leaning in with hands on hips.
Okay.
Doing that, but floating slightly off the ground because Rouge the Bat is a bat.
She has wings. I see. I understand.
Wings,
Okay.
yeah. She has wings that are not proportionately sized to let her fly, but she does fly.
She's very good at it.
I glide with my hair.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Actually, I wanted to figure out how to start the scene without just saying start the scene. So let's start the scene, which will go again for about 10 minutes, and then we'll cut off and count points. And we're going to start with Knuckles saying the line, "I glide with my hair."
Wow.
I glide with my hair.
Okay, but can you hover though?
It's a glide. If I get enough altitude, I kind of... Well, I don't even know why I'm talking about this.
You go down though, right? Like you don't fly.
I said I glide.
I just don't think it's an actual fly ability. It's a glide ability. It's not as useful. I have air superiority.
Well, I can dig too. These aren't just for show, you know.
Well, I'd hope not. They're very... It's not a great look.
You don't get to come to my island and talk about my spines. What
You're
are you doing here?
claiming the whole island now. This is your island.
As long as I can remember.
Excuse me, Mr. Knuckles, Miss Rouge, I just want to say that I think flying and gliding are both great.
And we see, Hallie, what do we see just fly into view off of these little, like, propeller beanie motors on his head?
Omochao flies in with these little propeller motor beanies on his head, and you know how when you sit down, little kids would like toddle their feet a little bit. He is somehow doing that even though he's not sitting down. He's hovering, but he's like happy to be here.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Omochao like can't move his arms. I think he just kind of is like a
He
doll.
just like wiggles his whole body, like he compensates by moving the rest of it like a little noodle.
Okay.
Oh, great. Another intruder.
I'm not an intruder. I've been here for days.
Hey, Omochao, how long have you been here?
Well, you'd have to really, it depends on when you consider when I start, because sometimes I leave and go on vacation and then I come back. I got back from my last vacation 3 days ago.
Okay, but how long were you originally? When were you first here?
Well, I don't know, but I can find out.
Okay, which makes me think, Omochao, were you born here? She looks very significantly at Knuckles.
Probably.
There you go. Omochao was born here, Knuckles, which means it's
Well, I
also...
was hatched here.
Right. Which means you were both born here, which means that it's both of your island at the very least.
Oh, well, I like to think of myself as an equal participant in living on this island. I defer all leadership to Mr. Knuckles.
Ha! Thanks, whatever your name is.
Why?
It's Omochao.
Why would you do that? Why would you give up your stake in the island?
Well, Miss Rouge,
Why would
Mr.
you give-
Knuckles.
Anyone leadership or ownership of an island? Ownership of land seems... Frankly, it seems bad.
Well, Miss Rouge, it's more metaphorical than anything, but Mr. Knuckles does protect the Master Emerald, which I don't really do, but I like to help Mr. Knuckles with protecting the Master Emerald.
You do? I mean, of course it does. This isn't the first time I've seen that thing.
And you do a great job.
Oh, thank you, Miss Rouge. That
Now-
means a lot. We're both really happy to have you here.
We are not.
This is my out of character.
Okay.
Where are we with the Master Emeralds?
The Master Emerald. That's a good point. So,
Yeah.
the conversation might not veer you otherwise, but let's go over this. So you are currently standing on opposite sides of, on the top of this pedestal, this
Mhm.
large green emerald. It's about the size of Knuckles. It's about the size of a large echidna or a very large bat. Or, using actual mammal sizes isn't a good reference. It's like 3 feet tall. It's the Master Emerald is unique. It is different from the other Chaos Emeralds in that it kind of helps influence them. And Knuckles protects the Master Emerald. And Rouge, well, I don't want to explain why you're here, but let's just say Rouge is here for
With
the
other
Master
motives.
Emerald.
Yeah.
So yeah, you are all fighting, but with a sudden glint, all of your attention turns back to this Master Emerald that you have been fighting over.
Yeah, Rouge has like sea green eyes, and as she looks over, they sparkle way more emerald in color.
I don't care what part of the island you're on, as long as it's not this one.
Why?
Because this is the important part. Did you not see all the ancient echidna symbolism?
You mean the beautiful part?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to admire beauty.
I from a distance.
She like takes a step back and
It's a
takes
start.
things in. All right. So I'm taking in everything that the island has to offer.
Just make sure that's all you're taking.
I don't know
Mr.
if I
Knuckles,
like
that
what
was a
you're
rude
implying.
Thing to say. They'll say
Very
it 3 times.
rude.
I don't get out much.
Well, that's become very obvious.
Mr. Knuckles,
Like I
we
said-
talked about this.
My job is to stay here and guard this emerald.
You know, Omochao, maybe you should take Knuckles here through like either a plan in terms of dealing with people who are coming to the island or basic actually I'm just a little flustered at the moment. That was very rude.
I'm great at dealing with people. who come to the island. It's filled with traps.
And as Knuckles says that, you just hear as a crane just flies down from the sky, grabs onto the pieces of the Master Emerald,
My emerald! And she, like, launches herself at it.
And Knuckles says his catchphrase, "Oh no!" And he launches himself at it.
And as Eggman goes to start his speech, because he was going to be like, "Oh, the Master Emerald! I can find a use for this." As he's about to do his monologue and pick it up, both of you, like, you know how it's like the anime thing where you have two characters running at each other, they're about to punch each other's fists. It's like that, except where your fists would punch is where the Master Emerald is, and suddenly it just shatters into like dozens of pieces, which just like some are close and some fly out into the sky, and you hear like a little twinkle, which is, you see that twinkle, that's how you know it's gone real far, like out to the distance, out to the aquatic mines, out to the pyramids, out to like Pumpkin Hill, some even all the way up to space. They just fly every which way.
You also hear Omochao go, "No, not again!"
Look at what you did!
Knuckles doesn't say anything. He runs to the shattered pieces that are nearby, starts frantically digging into the ground, looks left, looks right, and says, and exhales, saying, "Whew, nothing came out of it this time."
This time? This time? You've broken that hunk of a rock before?
I didn't break it before. It shattered itself. Knuckles gestures roughly at a relief on one of the pillars, which shows a gigantic lizard-like water demon carved into the side of it.
Well, that just goes to show you absolutely can't be trusted with my emerald. She
Your
turns around
ex-emerald.
and-
Also, not your ex-emerald. Knuckles stares off in the distance, and he takes like a meditative pose. He brings his fists together, closes his eyes, and tries to feel, using his connection to the Master Emerald, where the nearest shard is.
Okay. Yeah, you go to feel it, and you can feel a few pieces around Angel Island, but it seems like the closest pieces you can see are at that's a place filled with ghosts.
Oh no.
Looks like your next destination is Pumpkin Hill.
I'll take a... Okay, I mean, I've got traps everywhere.
Yeah.
So looking at Rouge and making sure that I'm not taking my eyes off her at all, I step backwards, and then trying to make this look cool, I step down into one of my little tunnels that I have all over Angel Island, as depicted in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles.
Okay, yeah.
And I fall down, and you hear like, and there's like a spin dash noise, and then you hear a bonk and an ow, and then the sound of some stone scrabbling.
And Rouge and Omochao, what do you do before the scene closes out?
Well, what I'd love to do is I'd love to just simply take out an emerald detector.
You absolutely have one.
Thank you. And click it on and have like a spread of where the emeralds are, and like start plotting a course to them, and start calmly making my way towards one as a seasoned treasure hunter.
Seasoned treasure hunter.
Just because I didn't have my hat on.
Yeah, I think
And then
that's where I'd like to leave it.
All right. And then Omochao, do you just follow behind?
Omochao spins midair for a little bit in indecision, like, oh, and then goes after Rouge and goes, Miss Rouge, Miss Rouge, Miss Rouge, can I show you the island?
Omochao!
And as everyone leaves, the camera just pans up to Eggman, who's been there the whole time, and just
Completely ignored him.
shrugs, and he flies off in the opposite direction.
That feels like appropriate treatment for Eggman.
All right,
Been here.
so let's talk mechanics. Knuckles, what was your goal?
My goal was get my rival distracted from the Master Emerald, something which I didn't try particularly hard to do, but happened anyway because Eggman showed up while we were in mid-conversation grabbing the Master Emerald. So I think I did succeed despite my best efforts.
Okay, and then Rouge, what was your goal?
Oh, I really wanted you to call me by a silly name, but I don't think you did.
I don't.
I called you Intruder,
Oh.
but that's not really a nickname.
It's also, yeah, that's not, I figured you're just so prone to doing that I figured that you would at some point. So I like wasn't super angling for it.
You know what happened? You flustered me too much.
I'm sorry, kid.
Yeah.
I didn't help anyone at all.
Okay,
Failures
What
across the
open challenge
board.
it.
so how
Big
how
up.
this works is they're called hatred point dice. They don't really work as well in this context, but I didn't have enough time to think of a good name. So what's going to happen is, because Knuckles succeeded in his goal, he's going to get 2 regular dice. Rouge failed, so she's going to get 1 what they call hatred dice. I guess we could call it desperation dice, tension dice.
I thought it was a 3 dice goal for distracted from the Master
Oh,
Emerald.
distracted, right. You get 3 dice. So Knuckles gets 3 dice. I like tension because there's a lot of tension between the two. Rouge gets a tension dice. And Omochao, who gets dice if both people succeed. Omochao, I don't want him to lose everything, so Omochao will get 1 tension dice as well.
Cool.
Because the only way for Omochao to actually get more than that is if both people succeed.
Mhm.
So we fade out as they make their way towards Pumpkin Hill. We move past Pumpkin Hill and all the ghosts inside of it. We move on and on and on, and eventually we find ourselves in clear airways. And inside of it, it's the sky. And flying through the sky, we see in his little cyclone, which is kind of trucking along, we see Tails the Fox. What is Tails the Fox up to?
Tails is extremely responsible. So like so Tails is just doing like pre-mission checks and getting ready and like thinking through logistically all the things you need to deal with Prison Island, the island that nobody knew about but was on satellite TV. Yeah. Which means that there's actually quite a lot to do, right? Because you need to
I mean, how many people even really have satellite TV right now?
Well, it's not now. It's the year 1320.
1990.
Yeah. It's
Satellite TV is novel enough that Tails can yell. I learned about it by watching on satellite TV.
And everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah, Tails is speaking to himself definitely the whole time, right? Because I remember this distinctly. So Tails is like, and now I'm hacking into the database to get the schematics of the Prison Island before I make my hacking roll.
Prison
It's
Island,
not
the
that you're
island
talking
that
to
is
yourself. It's that
prison.
normally Sonic's around. And so they're usually talking to each other.
Right. That's the hope.
Yeah.
They just struggle without
Thanks,
each other.
Sonic.
No problem, little buddy.
Yeah, give me a hack-in. I'm gonna say Prison Island is a tough island. They have top of the line security. It is.
Cool.
It's gonna be hard. It's just gonna be a regular hard. I'm gonna spend a shadow point, so one of those ones will be upgraded to a red dice. So it'll be 2 purple, 1 red for difficulty.
2 purple, 1 red for the difficulty. Okay. So 2, 1, and then so that's a computers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle, Kat and Hallie are switched.
Thank
Oh,
you.
whoops.
Let me just
So
move them on all.
that, and then 2 purple, 1 red, and then computers is
Computers for you, because Tails is
Computers
just good
is-
at everything.
yeah. So it's 3 green and 2 yellow, right?
Yep, 3 green and 2 yellow, because Tails has 5 intellect and 2 in computers, because he's just good at everything.
Cool.
He's a good
so
boy.
He's a
Let me
very
make sure
good
that
boy.
I don't have
Best
any
boy.
additional hacking powers. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum. Okay. Roll the dice. cool. 4 successes and 2 threats.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So 4 successes. So for a success, you'll get the schematics. You have the schematics of Prison Island.
Right.
What do I want the threat to be?
I definitely see that Big the cat is there.
Big the cat is definitely there, and he will make his appearance. And you know what? That's your threat. Big the cat is there, and he will make an appearance at the least opportune moment.
Okay.
All right. So you're flying out, and suddenly you hear a scream from below.
Oh, a scream.
And we're
A
gonna
scream?
And-
I have to check in on that and probably help.
and I like how close that was to the actual dialogue.
It's
Just
really
by
close.
virtue of just. All right, we're gonna cut away. We are gonna cut away to something that Sonic Adventure games don't show too much. Amy Rose, just what is your home like? How did you hear about Sonic? They don't really tell us about Amy's home, so like
We're finally getting an explanation.
it could be anything. Like, do you just live in like a single condo in the middle of Central City and you just saw Sonic run by, or
She's got like a really nice like penthouse apartment.
Okay.
Don't ask how she affords it because she won't tell you. But it's a very good penthouse apartment.
all right? So we go into this penthouse apartment in we're actually not going to make it in Central City. We're going to go a deep cut. We're deep penthouse in the city of Westopolis, which is very nice now.
That's where to be.
There's going to be an alien invasion that'll mess that up in like a few months, but we don't worry about that right now. A nice penthouse in Westopolis. We focus in and we see Amy Rose and describe who we see and what she's doing.
Amy Rose has kicked back on her couch. She's got these really obnoxious pink fuzzy slippers on her feet. And she is sucking down like a really giant convenience store soda, like one of those like unreasonably sized convenience store sodas. And she's eating a pizza.
I still can't get over the pink fuzzy slippers, because that would be if I wore skin-colored slippers as a
I
human
know.
being, because she's pink.
But they're like so fuzzy. They're clearly not part of her fur. They're like a different kind.
Yeah, no, it's just like
Oh,
leather. It's like leather.
It's like they're slippers, is what I'm saying.
Okay, so, and you're eating a pizza. What kind of pizza does Amy Rose like?
Pineapple. Just
Okay.
so much pineapple.
So much pineapple. More pineapple than pizza at this point.
Correct. She asked for triple the amount of pineapple
Okay.
when she ordered it.
And she's just kicking back. I feel like Amy can't afford satellite TV. Well, she can't afford it, but I feel
She
like
could, but she doesn't have it. She's flipping through like a magazine.
okay, she's flipping through a magazine. What's the magazine?
It's like something between like a girl's life juvenile magazine for tweens and Cosmo, because we aged Amy up as well to 17 and 16, 17.
Yeah.
So it's like she's got like an age appropriate magazine and then like one for adult women that she just has.
And it just alternates back and forth between the two.
Yeah,
It's
she,
very
like,
alarming.
She like will read like an article and then throw it to the side and then read a different article. And all the good quizzes obviously are in the juvenile magazine. So she does those.
Yeah, so you just took a quiz. You took a quiz at which of Sonic's friends are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got Knuckles. I'm so sorry.
She's not happy with that result, and she just anger eats more pizza.
And this magazine is called Cosmobotropolis.
But I'm very glad you picked a tween or a teen magazine, because as we all know, some of the best on the grounds, like important reporting today, comes from tween magazines. So you're
Correct.
flipping through all the stuff, and then you get this in-depth article on like the conditions of the secret facility, which can only be found in this magazine and on satellite TV. Prison Island. And you're flipping through, you're reading it, but then you hear a statement from one of the inmates, and the statement says, and Sonic
Gotta go fast.
just says, "Gotta go fast," and you know.
This is like a really up-to-date article. Like,
It's
it was
really up
published
to date.
as fast as Sonic himself,
yeah,
apparently.
And like, and so in the inmates say section, because it's a close, inmates says, the closest we can get to Sonic says, you just read, "Gotta go fast." How does Amy
She'll-
respond?
Like, she's still sucking down her soda through like one corner of her mouth, and then she stops when she reads that, and then she narrows her eyes a little bit, and then she puts the soda to the side, nicely folds up the magazine, puts it aside, kicks off her slippers. She's been wearing her shoes underneath them the entire time. Collects her hammer from somewhere off screen because she has that ability. And she's off.
All right. And you're off, and you're just, I'm assuming, unlike Tails, you're like a rebel without a plan. You're just you're just
Tails
charging.
had all these pre-mission checks. He was thinking things through. No, Amy just goes. She hitchhikes. She hitchhikes to Prison Island.
Okay.
She somehow gets there.
She somehow gets there. You actually take a trip.
Going there.
No, I
Is he
got
like
it.
a friendly barge captain?
Yeah, like there's like a montage between like when Sonic's doing his whole, or that was before Amy knew he was in prison because he wasn't there yet, but like somewhere between Tails like checking things, there's like a montage of Amy just like talking to someone in the background, being in a car.
And we aren't sure who that person is at
Rowing a
first, but they have a very like circular shape and two large cat ears protruding from their heads because
she
Big
hitchhikes with Big the Cat, yeah.
Because Big the Cat knows all the good fishing spots, and he's heard there's a prime one on Prison Island.
My God.
What a great reason to be there. Sir, this is a secure facility.
Froggy said it's a good spot.
Oh, bud.
He hasn't
So
lost
you're talking
Froggy.
to a frog.
He does have Froggy with him.
At least he's doing well.
Yeah, and I will say Big the Cat is the only one who has a reasonable reason for knowing about this because he didn't read it from a magazine or see it on satellite TV.
Froggy told him.
Yeah, Froggy has a network. Froggy knows things that need to be known.
Good fishing spots.
Yeah, so you go with Big the Cat, and eventually you get parked off right outside of it. So Prison Island has three main parts, which I would note because this is going to be based on your infiltration. So it has, I have the names here because they're names of levels because I'm clever like that. It has three areas. It has Prison Lane, which is kind of the main prisoner cell. You'll have to go there regardless, but you know, Prison Lane is kind of if you barge through the front door. There's the Green Forest, that's the surrounding forest areas, and then there's the Metal Harbor. And Metal Harbor is currently where Amy is. That's just the harbor outside. You've got a lot of like, I forget what they're called, just the battleships that have like all the jets that can fly off of them, except in this case, the jets are robot because Gun loves their robots. And Amy is on one of these just giant battleships. That's where Big decided to let her off. And you're looking around, ready to go, Amy, and you see a few figures in the corner. You see this lady, this bat lady who's looking off in the distance. She's, you know, a bit serious, but she looks she's cool and mature looking. There's this large like mech thing, but you're not focused on that because you see, and they're all talking to each other, but they're talking to someone very important. Now, I don't know if it's like the shadows or if Sonic got like a tan, but he got a tan by like crisping himself in the oven. Because his quills definitely look a bit darker than usual, but I mean, that's definitely a male hedgehog who looks to be approximately the age of like 15 to
That's Sonic.
50. Yeah?
Like,
That's Sonic, like.
Sonic! I love the frosted tips. She like and you listen to my advice. I'm so happy.
and you turn over, and this hedgehog who looks to be like Sonic. At first, you're not sure because this figure immediately throws his arm away from you and just kind of looks at you with disgust. And like, I mean, that's just Sonic. So it's so far so good. But you hear a much deeper voice than usual. You hear like a ugh, as this like figure turns around and glares at you. And you also
You're not as cute as Sonic.
and you
in
also
response to that.
and as you say that, and he's like ugh, and he's hurt by that. Like we aren't using strain, he takes a little bit of strain from that. And then the
That means he's just wounded. He's just wounded. Literally, you literally wounded him.
and the mech just slams on the ground a little bit and turns around, and you see inside of it, looking down at you, this man. He is in a vehicle shaped like an egg. His head is an egg. His body is an egg. The only thing that isn't an egg is his large mustache that extends to the sides. The one and fearsome Dr. Ivo Robotnik, just kidding, we call him Eggman, because he's an egg and also a man. And he turns over and he's just like, ah, oh, I can't do his voice.
Yes, you're doing great. You're doing great. Keep doing it. Yes, you can. You got it.
You did. It's really
You-
good.
You did it. Keep going.
All I can do is the oh-ho, so he turns around, oh-ho!
Amy will gesture with her thumb at not Sonic and be like, "Hey, that's not Sonic. So what gives?"
And he turns to you, because I'm just going to steal. He says, I'm the one who should be asking you that.
Well, I don't have Sonic. I wouldn't be here if I did.
So Sonic's here, you say?
God damn it. I'm so upset.
And he turns over to the others and he says, take care of the emeralds. And he takes his goggles and he puts them down. I'll handle Amy. And he starts marching towards you.
Can we say the scream happens now, but it's not actually a peril scream, it's an ah! Tails mistook for a real scream.
Just mocking him?
You heard it, yes.
Alright, so you hear ah! Like an exaggerated scream, which Tails, being the pure boy that he is, takes with 100% sincerity.
Of course
Just
I have to help.
voice.
Yeah. Tornado transformation.
Oh, buddy, your camera's cutting out.
Yeah, my computer's making distressed noises. I'm a little worried.
Oh no!
Oh no, Tails.
Yeah.
You can fix it.
Hopefully I won't disappear. I very much want to be here.
And if we need to take a second, if it looks like it's too much, and we need to take a second to like let it reheat. Let me know.
Okay.
Reheat, recool,
Yeah.
recool.
Recalibrate, maybe.
Yeah, recalibrate.
Yeah, I might need to see if I can shut down whatever. There might be like an update happening.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Do we want to just take a 10-minute break now and then let Kat do that and then
Yeah.
come back?
Let's take a break,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back and we'll have a confrontation with Eggman.
Thanks, gang.
Yeah,
We
of
can talk to the
course.
chat while you're doing that.
Yeah, we'll talk to the
Thanks.
chat,
I'll mute.
Yeah.
I'll be.
and
I'll be right back.
I'll put on some nice background music.
Kyle, how do you recommend I listen to the background music and also still listen to you? Because otherwise I hear you double through the Zoom and the background music.
I will send it to you.
Or I'll just mute you on this and listen to you through the chat. Does that work?
Yeah, that's fine. Wait, no, because that
then you'll
mutes
hear
you
all of us.
overall.
Oh,
Be a delay.
Yeah.
never mind. Don't worry about it.
No, it's fine. I mean, I can send it to you too. It's unfortunate that we can't do like something that gets sent to everyone, but it's just the Eggman instrumental
You know, it's
song.
just I've never
Yeah.
heard Sonic music before, so.
If you mute the Twitch and then just play the YouTube video in the background, then you'll
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, I could do
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's what I do.
Anyways, the Eggman theme is the best theme, so Yeah, I just like how Pranks chose. I'm not going to do Sonic Adventure 2 Soap Shoes for Sonic, but we're going to do Sad AM. Not Sad AM. That one. That's a serious one. Adventures. I had a choice. I could do Sonic Adventure 2 Eggman, who's like kind of gravelly and a little serious and also really freaking quiet, or just I could take "Aho" and just make that a character because that's how I find voices, just a single line.
That and I hate that hedgehog, and you're good to go.
I hate that hedgehog.
There you go.
There we go.
That was so good.
You got this.
It's great.
Do we have any questions from the chat we can take?
Do we have
while
any
we're waiting for-
questions? Hit us with questions, chat. Ask me.
Field us.
Yeah, ask us about, the game, our feelings, our emotions. Ask me about the Great Vespari, who has an identical voice to the Eggman one I'm doing, basically. It's just the same voice, but with a slight accent.
Cat's back.
Oh, Cat's back.
Maybe. I finally got my task manager to open. I'm so
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's fine. How are we feeling about this game? That's the one question from the chat. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not sure if Sonic's gonna get rescued. That's honestly up in the air right now.
Wow. We haven't even. Tails hasn't even landed. It is so early to.
I need to point out the variable I trust least in this equation is Sonic himself.
That's reasonable. That's fair.
This is the most sleep I've gotten in years.
All right, we ready to continue?
Yeah, let's do it.
No. Fascinating.
Oh, no.
This isn't an update, so I don't know what is. It's not.
Well, I mean, you're coming through loud and clear now.
What
Oh,
does
it's
happen to
fine?
that city?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Well, something had happened. It was very scary for a time. I'm glad to be back.
All right. So Tails, you hear a completely serious. Amy, could you do the scream again if you're
Yeah.
there?
Ah!
Completely genuine scream.
That's a very genuine scream. I need to go help. A tornado transformation. That's,
yeah.
yeah.
And so, what does the tornado? What does the cyclone do?
Well, it's the tornado.
Well, it's this. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's the tornado. Yeah,
It
This
is
is the tornado.
Yeah. So the tornado flies. It's in its plane form, and it flies down, and then it goes. Well, in my head, anything that transforms makes the transformer noise, and then it turns into a mech. That's like it has a little cockpit, and then it has gun arms and like a punch cannon arm. And I'm a little mech man, and I go, "Oh, it's Amy Rose. Hi, Amy.
Oh, hey, Tails.
Do you need help?"
She looks back at Eggman and then looks back at Tails.
Egghead.
Fox boy, your timing is impeccable. Now I know you have all sorts of unnecessary plans. Why don't you hand them over to me?
How about I punch them over to you, and then I do a punch attack?
Good boy,
Yeah.
Tails.
Which the
Thank
punch
you.
attack is just a little punch arm that extends out. Yeah, roll me a punch attack. That is going to be engaged, and I gotta look. Tails is absolutely busted, so let me just look at his character sheet for a second. The punch arm is a gunnery attack, but you use your intellect instead of agility. So it's just a flat 5 versus difficulty of 2 purple die. So 5 green, 2 purple. And let me pull up Eggman's stats, although I have a feeling I'm not going to need his stats for very long. It's just a sneaking suspicion.
Roll them, boys. So I've rolled them, but if I have to modify, I can reroll.
Oh, no, you don't have to modify at all.
Okay, 2 successes, 1 advantage.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, yeah, describe how this goes out and hits the Eggman.
So, yeah, I mean, I landed like next to Amy. Amy was engaged with so I'm like right there. And I don't think he was like prepared for I don't know how often he's encountered me like this before. I don't think he's used to my swipes. He's not this is a brand new big punch boy, and
Yeah, you have coincidentally created the exact same mech he has, and he is not
yeah,
ready for
exactly. So
And yours is emerald powered.
he's used
Oh,
to
no.
he's used to being the big mech puncher, not the big mech punchy. So so he gets the big mech punched right in the like mid body, like he would be cracked were he an egg.
that. All right, so it just pops out. It does not crack the Eggman, but it does do. How much damage does it do by default? Because you got 2 successes, right?
Yeah.
And it does by default
Oh,
5
it has been a
with
while.
the punch arm. So that does 7 damage to the Eggman. Oh
Damage.
boy, the Eggman is already not looking good. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, disorient 3.
Yeah, and disorient.
So you can spend 3 advantages to disorient him.
Yeah,
if
which
you have 3
no.
advantages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you can pick up rings with the advantages if you have any.
Oh, I do. I would love to do that. I have
Alright.
2 advantages, so I would pick up
4 rings.
4
4
rings.
rings. 4 rings just pop out of his thing. He's like, my rings! I guess we'll have to go back to fossil fuels, because I guess this is an environmental piece now, and the thing chugs up, and now it just and it starts smoking. And
Oh no, are we making
Say,
everything
as I, like-
worse? by-
Yeah. No! I say as I'm like doing a little spin move to get my rings in my neck.
all right, I'm gonna need Amy and Tails. We're gonna start combat. You two need to roll cool because you were prepared for this, and the Eggman, who is very much not prepared for this, is gonna roll vigilance.
Okay, so
So
Presence.
you're cool,
presence.
Amy. Yeah, let me take a look at yours, Amy. So Amy has a cool of 1, and it's presence. So that's going to be 2 green, 1 yellow for you.
2 green, 1 yellow. Okay.
And Eggman just has 2 green flat because he is not very vigilant.
Mine's just 4 advantages.
Wait, I
Okay.
have 3 presents though.
Yeah, but you upgrade one of them because you have a skill.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so 2 green,
I
1
forgot
yellow.
about that. 2 green, 1 yellow. All right. I rolled 1 success, 3 advantages.
Okay, so the order of this combat, because we actually have a multi-character combat now, is we're going to
Whoa.
have 1 space for the heroes, 1 space for the Eggman, and then 1 space for the heroes again. And just again for music, if you're listening in the background, I would pull up the either versus Eggman music or I Am the Eggman from the Beatles. Either one is completely appropriate for what's about to happen.
Query, where did Rouge and Faker go?
Rouge and Faker, they went off towards the island.
Oh, okay.
So they're gone. They're on some sort of secret mission. All right. So the heroes, Amy or Tails, gets to go up and fight the Eggman.
You should go, Amy.
Okay. Amy has her Pico hammer. And I'm just gonna swing it and hit it
Okay,
real hard.
you're gonna hit
Nothing
him-
fancy.
Amy's
She's
just like
ready to hit.
battering up, getting ready to just swing at
Yeah,
him.
yeah. She's been kind of like lazily swinging it until it gets enough velocity, and then she's just gonna let it go.
Okay.
She's not
okay.
gonna like let it fly, but she's gonna,
Yeah,
let it
yeah,
go.
yeah. No, I like that. Give me a roll for hitting. For your heavy hammer, that's gonna be let's see, it's brawl, so you have 2 green, 2 yellow,
Okay.
and then it is inaccurate, so you get 1 black as well. 2 green,
Okay.
2 yellow, 1 black, and 2 purple.
And 2 purple. Okay.
Yep.
That's gonna be 4 successes, 1 advantage, and 1 triumph.
Nice.
That's
This
great.
is my system. I
Y'all
don't
are
usually roll
gonna
well.
y'all are gonna actually let me just take a note here super quick. So your hammer does 5, and you rolled 9. So you get a triumph as well. So something really good happens. Describe how you one-shot the Eggman.
It's not a one shot because Tails punched him first. So she'll like before doing her like swing, she'll turn to Tails and be like, "Thanks for warming it up for me." And then she's gonna like, you know what? Instead of baseball, we're gonna go for a croquet angle. She like Eggman is already disoriented and cracked down the middle from Tails' punchy arm. So she just kind of like narrows her eyes a little bit and does like an obnoxious like lining up with one eye squinted type deal, and then does a croquet swing and like brings it all the way back up, and then just for the power play ends up doing it one-handed. Like she
Wow.
does it with one hand.
Oh,
and
no.
swings it through one hand. So then it's a perfect doink, but like the impact is like a light doink, but then it just goes whoosh and flies off the screen. Like the noise of the impact and what the impact does don't match up at all.
Okay, and Eggman just flies out. He normally drops 5 rings for being defeated, but because you rolled triumph, he drops a total of 15. So
Whoa.
each of you gets
Whoa.
15 rings.
And then
Oh.
can I convert all the advantages that I had into rings also?
How many advantages you have?
I had for this roll I had 1, but for the previous one I had 3.
Yeah, let's just even it out. Let's say you get 20 overall. 20 rings overall.
That's fair.
And Eggman flies away, and you just see him crash into like the top of the building. And as you two play out your remaining scene, just imagine that Eggman in the background is just climbing, like beaten and battered out of his thing as he says the line from the game. And he's just like, "This time this time I'll let you go, but next time we meet, you won't be so..." And before he can say lucky, it just blows up in the background.
Like the cat watches from a distance, still fishing.
Solemn. Yeah, he's just fishing. It disturbs the fish a little bit, and he's like, "Oh, come on, guys." He throws out some more bait. Froggy is unfazed.
So fairly unfazed, Tails like turns to Amy. So wow, Amy, how did you get here?
I caught a ride. I didn't know you were on your way.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but Sonic's imprisoned here.
Amy shares like a nod with Tails, like an inside joke, like Sonic's in prison. Like, and goes, "So you're here for him too?"
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Well, let's go find him. I cannot believe he got himself into this mess. You know, if he would just call either of us or anyone, this
He's
wouldn't
always
happen.
running off alone.
I know. What does he? I mean, I know that he's really, really cool, and you know he's capable. Well, maybe not because we're here.
Yeah. And this prison island is supposed to be super top secret.
You know, it is. How did you find out about it?
Oh, satellite TV.
Magazine.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense too. You want to ride?
I'd love one. And she'll jump up into the mech.
Uh-huh. Tails will like start clomping along towards the location.
Okay.
So towards Prison Lane.
All right. Yeah, so we've got the game defaults to Prison Lane, but we're adventurous. We've got 3 branching paths we can choose here. Anyways,
True.
so we've got, and I mean, of course, you can do alternate things. If you want to just like paradrop Amy from above, you can do that as well. But the 3 main pathways are Prison Lane, aka the front door, from Metal Harbor, so going across the harbor, or sneaking your way through the forest are the 3 main areas. But I will give you this time to figure out what is your plan of attack. Are you going to just Prison Lane through the front door, or
Well,
what
Sonic's not here, which is what he'd tell you to do.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's no reason to bust through the front door. We could just sneak through the forest. I bring up the schematics and show Amy.
Amy nods as if she's not already bored by looking at something that isn't a magazine and is like, yeah. Well, what is the fastest way?
Well, I don't know. They all have different merits is the point that I'm getting at. See,
Okay, but
'Cause-
which one is the best merit?
well, it all depends on your moral framework because the government, I think, is doing sketchy things at this facility. We don't know. Maybe we should figure it out and like actually deal with the fact that there are prisoners here that we haven't heard from in a long time, which is something I was thinking about that Sonic might not care about because he wants to get out of here quickly until we like explain it to him. But I thought you'd care.
About people that aren't Sonic.
Well, yeah, but you you like read all of those cool magazines, the teen ones. Like
Just can't read them yet.
like Teen
Not
Rogue.
allowed.
Yeah. They're always talking about
Hallie, I
No.
should note
Mhm.
that one of the people imprisoned here is Bean the Dynamite, in case that changes your opinion at all.
Wait, is
It
that?
changes Hallie's. I love Bean.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
No,
Bean
as
might
Hallie.
Bean might deserve to be locked up. To be perfectly honest.
He absolutely does, and I'm gonna free him.
do I have a list of who's imprisoned?
Yeah, let me just send you this list. The list is called the 10 Sonic characters you forgot about. That's just what I'm going off of. So
Great.
we've got Fang the Sniper, Ray the
Yeah.
Squirrel, Mighty the Armadillo,
Mhm.
Shade the Echidna, who's from a game in the future.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I love Shady
Um,
Echidna, yeah.
Shade.
We have the Tails doll, Bean the
Mhm.
Dynamite, Bark the Polar Bear, Heavy and Bomb, who I've never seen before.
They're Knuckles Chaotix.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna change Marine the Raccoon to Styx because I actually know Styx.
Yeah.
And then let's do Metal Knuckles. The sad.
Okay, look, Metal Knuckles and Tails Doll deserve to be there.
I
Those
should-
two are creepy.
I should point out I know nothing about their characters, so I will improvise. But yes, that's the full list of characters who are there. Also, Charmy B was there for like
No.
he was there for a little bit, but he's just small enough he could just fly through the bars.
He's a baby. Let him go.
Yeah, so
I'm
so-
like, and that I'm using that as part of my point. I'm like, and Charmy was there. Charmy? What's Charmy done wrong?
That is weird, Tails. Then she'll kind of like take the list and look at it. I guess you're right. We'll go help these other people too.
Great. So, in order to do that, I was thinking before that we just go in the front, but then I think that probably we're going to alert everyone who works there.
And
So-
that's bad.
It is bad. So-
Okay.
We could go about it one of two ways. Either we could completely sneak in, or I could cause a diversion while dropping you in, and then you could go get Sonic. But I need you to explain to Sonic that we're breaking everyone out.
You need me to explain to Sonic just that we're breaking everyone out. I don't need any, like, I don't know, formulas, figures, charts.
I don't think so on this one. I like look desperately at my plans. The prison will explode if he just like leaves though.
No.
That sounds like a problem. So how are we gonna solve that? Do you have like, I don't know, like sticky tack to cover a bomb? That works.
He just
right?
needs to not leave. That's basically it.
So he needs to not leave,
Yeah.
but we're here to get him to leave.
Well, no, we're here to help break everyone out of the island, including him, and we'll figure out it not exploding,
Oh, we'll just deal with that when we get to it.
together
Yeah.
as
Okay.
a group.
It's-
We're all
Okay.
breaking out
Okay.
together.
I like that plan, Tails. That makes
Yeah.
sense to me now.
That's
okay.
step 2
That's step 2.
after the diversion and you breaking everyone out.
After the diversion and me breaking everyone out.
Right?
Okay.
Eggman
Right.
just watched a lot of the movie Speed lately, and he wanted to make an opposite Speed.
Well, no, it makes sense because Sonic's like public enemy number 1, the most dangerous hedgehog. So they're like, their security measure is if the most dangerous prisoner gets out of his cell, we'll just blow up the island.
We'll
Yeah.
just blow it all up.
That's a
It
perfect
tracks.
idea.
We'll
All right.
just launch a missile. We'll
Yeah.
just like, we'll go real ham on this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the GUN way.
If anyone's watching at home, this right here is the moment that the rails have gone this way, and we have gone this way.
Sorry.
Welcome to Sonic Adventure 2 roleplay.
And then we cut to a vision of Sonic in his cell with the lie down pose that you see in some games where he's just waiting and he says,
Have you written all over the walls, or has somebody written all over?
somebody wrote all over the walls. There's
Okay.
math there though.
Okay.
Here's the
and,
math there.
There's a lie down pose and Sonic says, boring. I shouldn't have used my one phone call on that chili dog delivery service. Oh well. If nothing happens in 5 minutes, I'm just gonna get out of here. And then we cut back to the other two having a very serious discussion.
All right, let me just add in the character Dave the Chili Dog Man, who is also here. All right. All right, so let's focus in on Tails' plan. So, because how I imagine this happens is Tails is just kind of airdropping Amy,
Mhm.
who's like going in to get Sonic. So that's going to be a pretty solid part. There's not a whole lot Amy needs to do there, but we do need to figure out what Tails is doing to distract them. So Tails, tell me your plan.
I guess. So I need to cause a distraction, and I have the schematics of the thing, right? So maybe I'll go launch that missile.
What?
You heard Tails.
This is so good.
Confidence that you said that.
I'm so excited. I
So
can't wait.
we're in Metal Harbor. If you've played the level, you know the one. There's a missile launch. Where is it going? No one knows. I think we're gonna find out today. Tails, who is given an emerald for defusing a missile, I need to enforce this, is now, yeah, are you going in your mech?
I'm going in my Mac.
Okay, you're going in your mech. So, we're by the missiles. We see, we just see a lady. She's just there. She's sitting there, working on the missiles. Oh boy, does she love her missiles. And suddenly, you just hear a doof, 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 as just a giant mech with a tiny fox just walks right up to the control panel.
Hi.
Do you have authorization?
No, I punch. Not her. The panel.
Oh, okay. You punched the I thought you were just like skyrocketing her off the panel. All right, you punch the panel. Give me a gunnery or a hack roll,
I'm gonna do a hack roll.
because I feel like you're hacking via punching.
Yeah, I'm definitely hacking via punching.
It's
Okay.
the brute force hacking method.
Okay. Yeah.
The best one.
So that's that, and this. What's the difficulty?
Let's say it's a 3, but we're gonna add 1 difficulty dice. One setback dice.
Yeah.
So 3 purple, 1 black. Actually, no. Let's do 2 black because you just got this mech. You're not used to hack punching.
So I'm going to flip a Sonic.
Okay.
That just gives me 1 more.
It ups
Yellow.
1 of your greens to a yellow. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Roll. 2 successes, 2 threats.
Okay. So
That seems fair.
I want to know first what Tails was trying to do with the missile.
Okay. Tails is trying. He's not trying to like. gosh, it would be great if they stopped this. But we'll see what happens. Because Tails is absolutely starting up the launch sequence to
Okay.
the to the missile. That's what's happened.
Okay. And he doesn't know where it's going, right?
No, he doesn't know because that was emphatically not on the thing. He has started up the launch sequence and by punching destroyed the panel.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Mhm.
So we'll get to the threats in a second. You hear 10, 9,
Oh, that's very
8,
fast. Great.
7,
Uh-huh.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activating raised Earth protocol. Launching towards Station Square.
Okay.
And it's about to launch towards Station Square, the place that Tails had protected from missiles just a few months prior.
Yeah. Crackers. Yeah. Uh-huh. So, tornado transformation, I guess.
Alright, so this missile goes off and Tails pursues it. What is Tails' plan here?
Well, how big is it? It's very big, isn't it?
It's a very big missile. It's an extremely big missile.
Yeah. I guess we're gonna see how high up its trajectory path is.
Okay.
We might end up sacrificing the tornado way earlier than anybody would have liked.
Oh no!
So it's making its way up to space. I would say it gets up there in about 3 turns. I specify turns because your ultimate goal with the missile launch was not to launch the missiles.
No,
Your
that
goal
was a very fast countdown that does match up the countdown in like the launch sequence in the game. That is a canonical countdown. However, that was not what Tails was anticipating.
Tails' goal ultimately, which he succeeded, was attracting attention. So Tails flies up towards the machine, and as he does, out of the blue, I gotta figure out their names. 3 gun wings and 1 skyhawk, which is so gun wings are just flying versions of the little orb thing with guns, and 1 skyhawk, which is similar but it's bigger and beefier, start flying towards you as well.
Great.
All right, we're gonna transfer over to Amy. Amy, you just hear this as you are falling, just free falling down towards the prison.
Yeah. Do I have to like roll to land
Um,
dying or something?
no, I don't think so right now.
Okay. I mean, Amy can do that.
Yeah, Amy,
Like,
I'm not
she's
gonna have you
more
just
than capable.
splat. There's
Okay.
no falling damage.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I would have been dead in that first scene.
So Amy, you fall and you what part of the prison are you positioning for?
So from my understanding, Sonic is kept in like solitary confinement because he's the most dangerous one.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is in a different part of the prison.
Yeah, there's just a big jail cell with all the forgotten Sonic characters.
I'm just gonna free them. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. And free them first.
Okay. Okay.
Because they need to get off first anyway, because we have to figure out how to get Sonic off.
Okay, so you fall under you find your way into the jail cell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were there. You land on the ground. You're on the rooftop, so you can see through the windows beneath you. You can see a few of the Met guards walking around. They're the ones that Sonic fought that were wearing suits. They aren't wearing suits now. They're they don't need to be in disguise. And they're just walking around. And you can see them below. What are you doing, Amy?
All right. Amy's first instinct is just to drop down and attack them, but she remembers that Tails seems to think stealth is important, and she does respect Tails' very good strategies. So as she hears the missile go off in the
should you
distance. As she hears strategy number 1 going off into the distance. She will roll her eyes a little bit at doing something against her nature, and I'm going to just wait for them to leave, and then
Okay.
go up to the first cell that I can find with a person in it. I'm freeing everybody.
So you're on the roof right now.
Yes.
So how are you getting inside?
Amy tries to break a window as quietly as possible. So therefore, she does not use the Pico hammer. What she does use is her hammer of holding. With my hammer of holding, I can spend 5 rings to pull a real item out of my little hammer, and it has to fit in one hand. But it can be anything, like cartoon style. So she reaches into her hammer and pulls out a little glass cutter.
Whoa, cool.
She's gonna a Mission Impossible glass cut her way
All
into
right.
the person.
I don't think you need to roll for that. I think it just cuts a circle, and we just see the glass fall down. And Amy, you fall down onto the ground. You said you go to the first cell?
Yep.
Okay, you turn over to the first cell, and as you turn over, you see this purple. I'm not sure what creature he is because I hadn't looked up, but you see this purple creature with a large notable fang and a cowboy hat.
Oh, he's like a dingo.
Okay.
Knack.
Okay.
Yeah,
Knack or fang,
Knack
whichever.
Knack the weasel?
The weasel, yeah.
So a weasel with a large fang. His name is Knack, but he goes by Fang as well. He's flipping a coin, a gemstone coin, as he's just sitting in his cell, leaning up, looking at you.
Amy will come casually, like a cool person, lean against the wall and go, "You want out of here?"
And the coin flips up, and he grabs it. And he turns to you and says, "Hey, nobody does nothing for nothing. What do you need? What do you need from me out of this?"
Do you know how to defuse bombs?
No, but I know the best damn bomb expert in all the. I know the best damn bomb expert in all of. I forget the name of the planet.
Mobius, Earth,
Mobius.
whatever.
No,
Or-
the
yeah, or
best
the-
damn bomb maker, bomb man in all of Mobius. I can take you to him.
That'll do.
All right. And as he goes to do that, a lot of things happen at once because I don't feel like we can resolve a missile in the short span of 20 minutes. So if everyone's okay with it, I think we've reached a good wrapping up point. So a few things happen at once. Tails, you are flying, racing this missile as you have all these enemies around you. You have to find a way to stop it before it just destroys Station Square.
Again.
Sonic, it's been 5 minutes. In reality, it's been closer to 3, but you can't wait that long.
Yeah, no, I can't wait that long.
So it's time to break out.
No.
So Sonic gets ready to break out. And finally, as the cell opens and Fang the sniper walks out, real cool and confident, suddenly, the threats from earlier come back. You hear a big crash from the ceiling as suddenly Big the Cat just rolls in from off screen, slams into the center of the prison, looks around, and says, "This isn't the fishing pond." And that'll be the end of episode 1, as all the alarms go off
At once.
at once.
Should have gone to Sonic first. It might be team.
All right, so that's Sonic Adventure 2 Roleplay Part 1. We had one first half that was very, very much Allegiant, and now we're just spiraling every which way. I'm gonna have to look up. So many Sonic characters because I recognize what they look like, but I know nothing about them.
So excited to work with Bean. My
Bean
boy
the
Bean.
Dynamite.
Bean rocks. He's so
God.
cool.
I'm gonna have to look up so much. So many just made up Sonic characters on the fly. I guess I'm gonna have to finish Sonic in the Dark Chronicles, the Dark Brotherhood.
Yay.
Oh, that's a good one. I actually like that game.
It hit me at a bad time. I wasn't that big in the RPGs at the time.
Oh yeah,
But I was like,
it's not really a regular Sonic game at all.
yeah. But I was like, oh, a Sonic RPG by the really good RPG folks, I'll love it. And then it was an RPG, and I didn't like those as a kid. So, all right. Yeah. Thanks so much for playing. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Again, we will be back in 2 weeks for episode 2. Every just cornucopia of Sonic. We'll probably have a name something along those lines. Every forgotten Sonic character. They're all coming back all at once. Thank you so much for playing, everyone. I will talk about.
This was fun.
Yeah. I'll talk about a lot of my stuff last, but before we get to that, before we wrap up for everyone, just one last opportunity for everyone to talk about themselves, talk about what they do. So let's go the same order we did last time. Pranks, tell me about the kind of stuff you do.
Yeah, I'm Pranks Paul. You can find me on Twitter at RogueTLDR, all one word. I work with Kat on 2 projects. One is Autonomic, a family-friendly podcast that's set in an Indo-Ecuadorian fantasy world that Kat and I created, and we have some wonderful performers who have helped us bring it to life, and Kat is the showrunner on that and the GM on that. And then I also run a show that hasn't come out in a while because there's a global pandemic on and lots of other stressful things happen. But the show I mostly work on is called Never Tell Me the Pods, which is a Star Wars discussion podcast. Yeah, I think that's pretty much where you can find me, other than playing a lot of Persona 5 and Animal Crossing. That's what I do right now. So
perfect.
Yeah.
How about your stuff, Kat?
So if you wanted to listen to the Autonomic podcast, you could go to autonomicpodcast.com, which is spelled like the nervous system. You can find me on Twitter at cat_cool_ with cool spelled like my last name, KUHL. You could also find me over on Twitch at cool_kid, with again cool spelled like my last name. That's me accounted for.
And then Hallie.
I'm Hallie. I am on Quest Friends, which is the channel that is hosting this roleplay. So if you are in the chat and you don't know Quest Friends, you should. I'm also in another podcast called Catching Up David, where my friend David, who hasn't seen any pop culture movies from the last 20 years, watches pop culture films and experiences them at the wrong time and the wrong age. That is at Catching Up David, all one word, on Twitter. And then I am at just Hallie Kuntz on Twitter. That's KOONTZ, like the author for the last name.
And then finally, I'm Kyle Decker. You can find me online on Twitter at Decalodeon, but honestly, don't go there. I'm here all to talk about Quest Friends, because that's my main focus and passion. Quest Friends it's pretty much this if there was a lot more music and real tight editing for it. So Quest Friends is a Numenera actual play podcast. It takes place 1 billion years in the future. It stars me and my closest friends as we go through this idea of this futuristic world. We explore friendship and family and these really pure things in this strange, weird world 1 billion years in the future. We've got the world's nicest Mad Max gang. We've got a very angry globe, and we have one extremely vengeful magician, among other things. So you can check us out at questfriendspodcast.com. There is a fair bit of cussing, but besides that, pretty good for the whole family. So check that out at the link. I was going to say the link below, but there isn't one below. But there will be one in a second during our title screen, our end screen. Thank you for watching. All right, thanks so much, everyone, and we will be back again in 2 weeks for Sonic Adventure 2, Part 2.